This episode of The Young Turks brought to you by Jack Threads for the win.
Now, the question I pose to you is Donald Trump stupid? I think it's an interesting question because he acts like he's stupid, and he has run many businesses into the ground. So, and remember, he inherited a lot of his money initially. So it's not like Donald Trump is some sort of business genius. Mainly, he just markets himself now, and he's a very good marketer. You have to give him credit for that. And he has equated the name Trump with good businessman, right or wrong, and the financials seem to indicate wrong. But he's then made a lot of money from his name. He sells his name and they put it on buildings now, and not that he runs the buildings because he's not good at that, but he's good at building up a name. So one of the ways that he's decided to do that is with a fake presidential run. Some people are taking this seriously. It's absurd. Of course he's not running for president. Of course not. He couldn't even begin to think about doing that job. He's doing it as a publicity campaign, right? So what Trump is famous for in media circles is what they call flame wars. He loves to start wars with other celebrities that get in the papers that then have his name in the papers more and more and then make his name more marketable so he can sell it for a bigger price for somebody who's actually looking to do real estate business, unlike himself. So the question is, how is he going to get that attention? Who is he going to attack if he gets into the political realm? Obvious person to attack is the president, especially because Donald Trump says he's running on the Republican side. Now, how's he going to get to attack him? Well, the thing that will gain the most amount of attention is birtherism, accusing the president of not being a citizen of the United States. Now, why will that get the most attention? Because it's the most outrageous and ridiculous, right? So everybody like, oh my God, did you hear Donald Trump said that the president wasn't producing a birth certificate? So it's an obvious one. It's a gimme. It's a layup in the marketing world, right? And that's what Trump is doing. Here's Trump with Greta Van Susteren talking about the birth certificate thing in the first place.
You are demanding a birth certificate from the president. Why aren't you satisfied that he has been born here in the United States?
Well, the fact is, they ask me the question, and I say, I want to see his birth certificate. It's very simple. Somebody asked me today, could I see your birth certificate? I had it in my hands in less than an hour. You have a birth certificate. People that are born in this country have birth certificates. So I wanted to see his birth certificate. I mentioned that on The View. And Whoopi, who I like very much, who's a friend of mine, I did a movie cameo for her, as a matter of fact. But Whoopi said, oh, but if that were a white man, you wouldn't be asking that question. I said, what does this have to do with race? Has absolutely nothing to do with race.
He has presented himself as a stupid person, as a person who doesn't understand things. So, for example, he says the president should present his birth certificate, and he has not done so. I don't know how much clearer it could be. As Ben Smith of Politico has pointed out, the president has presented his birth certificate, and it's been online, and Donald Trump can check it out for the last 3 years. Furthermore, the thing that really gets me about this non-issue is that there are announcements of his birth in the local papers in Hawaii at the time. If he really was out of the country and his parents were out of the country, how clever were they to then go and pay a Hawaiian newspaper for a fake ad when their son was born in a different country? I mean, come on, you'd have to be a lunatic to believe that conspiracy theory. Nobody can possibly be that. Well, that's not fair. Apparently about a third of Republicans can be that dumb. My question is Donald Trump that dumb? My guess is probably not, but I leave that as an open question. I think he's probably disingenuous. So, but here comes the fun part. So he says, look, I don't know why the president hasn't done this. I'm going to present my birth certificate in under an hour. So he presents it to Newsmax. Here's the problem. Turns out what he gave them was not his actual birth certificate. Everybody do it with me. Facepalm. Oh, come on, dude. Come on. You can't make a huge issue out of this and try to get national press out of this and then at the end not give you a real birth certificate. It turns out that he gave a birth certificate from Jamaica Hospital in New York. That is not the official one. Apparently, you're supposed to give the certificate of live birth, and that it can only come from the health department and not from the hospital, and it's a whole different process, apparently. So he puts it out there. He's like, see how easy that was. They're like, you moron. You gave the wrong thing. He's like, what? Oh no, panic. And then he goes and tries to find his real certificate of live birth. No, I'm sorry, the certificate of live birth is what he got from the hospital. Who cares? Come on, man. Donald Trump was born in the country, so was Barack Obama. But this is all nonsense games, right? And I love that he got busted at his own game. Everybody makes fun of him. If finally he, in a panic, finds his real birth certificate and puts it up. But, look, if we wanted to play the same game they play, it's so easy. Watch, here I'll do it. If he was, a Democrat, this is what they would do with him. Did you know Donald Trump's mom was born in Scotland? Oh, that's very interesting. He claims that he's born in America, but, we could not initially produce his real birth certificate. Why did he give his certificate of birth instead of his birth certificate? Why did he want to do that kind of subterfuge and play those kind of games? Was he actually born in Scotland? I don't know. Or did his mom come here to have him here because he's actually an anchor baby? I don't know. These questions have to be asked. Did you know his plane is registered in the Bahamas? Why is it registered in the Bahamas if he's a citizen of the United States? Is he trying to do tax evasion? I don't know. There's so many unanswered questions here. You know what? Donald Trump's a very polarizing figure. He leads us to ask all these questions, so it must be his fault. See, that's how the game is played. And what drives me crazy is that anyone buys into that game. And Trump is either wildly disingenuous, which is my guess, or stupid and doesn't understand any of this and is like, where's Obama? And I can't get beyond this irony. The guy who ran against Barack Obama was not born in the United States. Like, they are the kings of projection. John McCain, the Republican presidential candidate, not born in the U.S. He was born in Panama. Now, he was born on a military base. Do I really care? I don't care, man. I don't want to get into legal arguments of whether that makes him a citizen or not. I'm sure he's a citizen. God bless his heart. Who cares, right? But imagine if Barack Obama was born in Panama, on a U.S. base or otherwise. What do you think the Republicans would have done? Oh, my God, he's not really...
Jack Threads is a new sponsor for TYT. They're a members-only online shopping club, but because you know us, you're going to get in. Aren't we cool? But here's the key part to it, 80% off. Hello, up to 80% off of some of the top apparel lines in the country. Game over.
Right.
So go to jackthreads.com/TYT because it's free to join, and you get all those discounts, and you avoid the pain in the ass. The ending of this commercial is a little schwang wang wang.